Day. Okay, so the water cycle. Let's look at the big picture. And this is like what we're going to make in class tomorrow, which is Thursday. So we'll start with the role of the sun. The sun provides the energy to the Earth's surface water, which causes evaporation. Okay, so when you heat up those bodies of water, the water then becomes water vapor in the atmosphere. So we'll start there. Evaporation, which is the process in which a liquid or water changes to a gas, water vapor. And you probably want to write these definitions down so you have them for your picture with the flaps in class. Transpiration is like a special kind of evaporation. It's when water evaporates directly from plants into the atmosphere. It's basically like the plant is sweating, which is kind of a gross way to think about it. Once the water vapor is in the atmosphere, it can cool and become a liquid, and this is called condensation. Cold air can hold less water vapor, so the vapor becomes droplets, which then form clouds. And if those clouds get too full, liquid water will fall from them. That's precipitation. The water droplets in the clouds just become too heavy, and so they fall. Precipitation, rain. So when it rains, the water falls on the ground into a river. The water that falls on the ground will run off into a river and affect the discharge of the river. So if the rate of precipitation is higher, the discharge of the river will increase because it's a cycle. It's all the same water. It's all connected. If it doesn't run off, it's going to infiltrate. Infiltration is the process by which water on the ground's surface enters the soil. And two things can affect infiltration, the porosity and the permeability of the substance. So porosity is how much of a rock is open space, the space between grains and within cracks or cavities of a rock. So if you guys have ever seen Proactive commercials and they talk about their pores, that's like the space between your skin cells. So porosity is how much space is in there. I'm sorry to like relate your faces to rocks. Permeability is how easy a fluid can move through a rock. So if something's permeable, water can flow right through it. If it's impermeable, the water can't get through it. It's going to go around. So in order for water to move through a rock to achieve runoff and infiltration, the rock must have both porosity and permeability. Not really runoff, that's surface. But to achieve infiltration, the rock should be porous and permeable. And then runoff is water flowing down from hills to lakes and streams and eventually towards the ocean. That's what you see on the surface. Okay, so there's water running off. It would first go to the lake. If it infiltrates here, it would end up either in the lake or back in the ocean eventually. If a slope of land is steeper, water will infiltrate less and run off faster because more water will run off before it can really sink into the ground. All right, so those are all the parts. So your evaporation, condensation, precipitation, which you should have already known, transpiration you might have already known, but then we're adding in infiltration and runoff, so in terms of surface water and groundwater. And then you need porous and permeable rocks in order for it to infiltrate.